Western Farm Show is a long-standing tradition in Kansas City, and it's bigger and better than ever. We'll get a preview next on Show Me Ag. Welcome to Show Me Ag. I'm your host, Kyle Vickers. The Western Farm Show is in its 55th year in Kansas City. It's an exhibit of farm machinery, technology, farm products, and services unlike anywhere in the country, and it's all packed into the American Rural Complex. It's open to farmers and visitors who want to see the latest equipment in agriculture. We have with us the director of the show, Ken Dean. Ken, thanks for joining us.
Kyle, my pleasure.
I've been very fortunate, heard about the show for years. The last couple of years I've been able to go, and it's just fantastic. You've put together quite the program.
Well, a lot of help goes into putting that together, but I appreciate the comments, and I'm glad that you'd had an opportunity to get to Kansas City to see our show.
So first of all, let's get the dates out here. It's towards the end of February.
Sure. It's always the last full weekend in February, and this year that'll be February 26th through 28th, as you mentioned, at the American Royal Complex there in Kansas City. Show hours on Friday and Saturday are 9 to 5, and on Sunday 9 to 4.
And you've got some other attractions to go along with just the exhibits. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, we in the last few years, Kyle, have been looking at ways to maybe enhance what we had at the show. We're very pleased with offering all the equipment and the services and the latest techniques, but we wanted to do something additional to that to maybe bring more interest into our show. So for the 6th year now, we'll have our livestock demonstrations on Saturday. We'll have the tractor pull on Friday and Saturday night, and in addition to our health and safety roundup area and our family living center up area upstairs, we're also bringing back again for the 2nd year our cooking school, sponsored by American Family Insurance.
That's exciting, and again, a variety of things for a variety of different people, whether it's children, wives, or farmers, but also just anybody interested. Amazing technology and equipment that is exhibited at that show.
Yes, you know, I read an article in Forbes magazine about 6 months ago, and they, like everybody else, are predicting a big boom in people. By the year 2050, they're saying somewhere around over 9 billion. Well, that is an increase, to put it in perspective, that's an increase of 70% over what we have right now. So in about 35 years, we're going to increase 70% population. How are we going to feed them? We're not getting a lot of new land out there, so we're going to have to figure out a way to get better taking care of the land that we have, whether it's row crop or livestock, no matter what it is. So precision ag has become a big thing in the last several years. You're going to see the technology, you're going to see the equipment, you're going to hear firsthand from the people that represent this at that show. So in addition to being able to see what you want to see, you have a chance to visit with them, to go back, be a better row crop producer, to be a better livestock producer. The
companies that come to this are really committed to not only to, they're hoping for sales, but they're really committed to exhibiting their products and so on. They really make a commitment to this date and this show, don't they?
You know, yeah, you would think that in 2015, with the internet being as lucrative as it is and widespread, that maybe an actual physical show where they actually come and see the products wouldn't be as popular. But if anything, the last couple of years it's been even better than we expected. We always have to have good weather in order to have a good crowd, but last couple of years we've seen record turnouts, and people are there to see what we have and to get better at what they're doing when they go back to the farm.
The people that exhibit and the people that sponsor are really a critical issue. And before we continue, let's meet one of the show's sponsors and find out why they appreciate this opportunity to engage their customers and the general public.
MFA is a co-op. We're basically based here in Missouri, but we touch all the states around us. And we've got a feed mill over in the Kansas area, so we're about halfway across Kansas there. 45,000 farmers we service, and we sell them anything from seed, fertilizer, feed, gates, panels, just about everything that you'd need in the farming operation. We've been involved with the show here for a lot of years. I remember going to the show when I was a kid in FFA, you know, and MFA has shown there for a lot of years. We got involved here about 3 years ago as a sponsor. A lot of that had to do with the low stress livestock demonstration that Dr. Gill from Texas A&M gives. We've promoted that. It's a good thing for a producer to see. When we're working livestock, if you can get them to work a little easier and not use hot shots and different things like that, the cattle work a lot better. He shows you how to do that by standing in there flight zone and get them to move without that kind of activity. But some of this livestock equipment costs a lot of money, you know, and so producers want to see what they're getting before they get it, and they want to be able to work it and see how it works before they purchase it. And a lot of times it takes 2 or 3 times of getting in and seeing exactly what people have to offer before they're ready to buy that. And this show just fits us because we're basically Kansas and Missouri is where our big trade territory is, and so it just fits. I just think that this thing has evolved. You know, when I was a kid, mostly what they had was just tractors, you know, and you can see about every type of tractor model that you want to see down there. But over the last several years, since we've been involved in that, we work a lot with the livestock producers. For the past several years, I kind of interact with people that are coming into that event, you know, and ask them if they're livestock producers. There's a lot of livestock producers there. It's just like this farm that we're on here today. You know, they're not just livestock, but they do other things too. And a lot of your producers are integrated, and they spread their risk out over crop as well as livestock. And so it's just it meets all different aspects of that. And they've also got a thing going on there with some of the other sponsors there that got a cooking show, so mom can go down there and see what's going on with that, and dad can go off and look at the things that he wants to do. But anything that has to do with farming, I think you can find there at that event. So if you got anything to do with that, you ought to be down there and see what's going on. Plus they got a tractor pull that's going on about every night. That's a lot of fun. So it's something for everybody.
That's a great example of the kind of commitment that you get from these sponsors. Let's go back. You mentioned some of the activities that are going on. Let's kind of examine those. The tractor pull is still pretty exciting. Do you do that outside in an arena? How do you handle a tractor pull? We're really fortunate, Kyle, that we have Kemper Arena right next door to the American Royal Building. So you can never trust the weather at the end of February. So the farm show will run up until 5. You can literally walk right across the lot over to Kemper Arena, and the tractor pull starts at around 6:15. You can get tickets both days in our box office at the farm show, and then when the farm show is over, walk right across the street. This will be the 6th year. We work with Doug Roberts, an outlaw truck and tractor out of Carthage, Missouri. It's a lot of fun. Most of the tractor pulls that you're probably familiar with are outside. So they have to do a few things inside to get the exhaust out and make it work. The other thing is the length of the track. A driver has to be ready to stop when he gets to the end of the track because you're indoors, you have no choice. So it's kind of neat to watch the nuances on how they brake and they steer to make it work right. But we had a record crowd last year, and weather permitting, we expect the same thing this year. Still plenty of noise and smoke and the exhibition of horsepower, I'm guessing. Absolutely. They said one night before, it was either Friday or Saturday a couple of years ago, they just are estimating the amount of dollars involved in the equipment out there. But the interesting thing is when there is an issue and maybe something happens, they blow an engine or whatever it might be, and they go, well, I know how much that costs. And I think a dozen golf balls is expensive until I see that. So it's an expensive hobby, but it's a lot of fun, and it ties in very nicely with our farm show right next door. Well, obviously those tractors are substantially modified from the ones you'll see over on the other side, but it's kind of fun to see both kinds and to see what some good engineers and entrepreneurs can do with some of those pulling trucks. Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the livestock handling demonstrations. That's been something fairly recent, hasn't it? Well, we started it just a few years ago, and we work with our show sponsor, MFA Incorporated. We actually have the demo there about 5 or 6 years ago, and because it was brand new and we really didn't have a chance to promote it very well, we had some weather issues. Unfortunately, we actually had more cattle there than we had people watching it. And MFA said, hey, if you guys are going to do it again, let us know, we might want to help you. And the rest is history. We had standing room only for 2 sessions last year. Dr. Ron Gill, he's the steward. He works with NCBA, but comes and does our event for us. He's back for his 6th year. It's in Scott Pavilion right next door to the Governor's Building, so it's free to farm show attendees and all put together by the fine folks at MFA. So Dr. Gill's going to have 2 sessions on Saturday, that's the 27th, one at 10:30 and one at 2. Now, they get the cattle out of Kirksville, and it's interesting because at 10:30, the cattle don't really know anything about Dr. Gill. 2 o'clock, they're a little wiser. So it's really interesting to see both
both sides of it, how the cattle pick up. But he works them in a really low stress environment, not any bells and whistles, and he gets them to do what they want to do, what he wants them to do, because as he says, cattle do want to be led.
I've seen some demonstrations and films of that. I haven't been able to make that work at my house, but it's pretty amazing to see that you got to be a little smarter than the cattle and figure out how to make them do what you want to do. The cooking demonstrations, tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. We were a little reluctant, I have to tell you, a couple of years ago, and we were approached by American Family Insurance on putting it together for us, but it was a hit last year. I'm sure it's going to be standing room only this year in our Wagstaff Theater. It's right inside the American Royal Building. The American Family Insurance agents are sponsoring the cooking school, although it's put on by A Taste of Home magazine. And we're going to have Jamie Dunn, an executive chef, back again. She insisted if they did it again to come back, and she's going to be here. So they will have, the agents will have tickets, or you can get them available right there at their booth in the show, Friday or Saturday morning.
And you've got some programs for FFA youth and 4-H youth as well?
It's a big deal for us. Last year, I went back and checked the records. We had nearly 100 chapters represented with students attending our show. We had a great border war food drive. It was a record-setting event. We had over 7,000 pounds of items brought in. We had over 6,000 meals we were able to donate to Harvesters, the regional food bank. And Lone Jack High School, I got to mention Lone Jack, Missouri, the 3 out of the last 4 years, they won the individual chapter award, and we gave them another check this year for $500.
Well, bless their hearts. So not a very big chapter, I'm guessing, but they're obviously pretty committed.
They brought in over 2,000, or nearly 2,000 items, and they were determined to win, and they did.
And that's you said border wars. That's a contest between Missouri and Kansas.
Exactly, the friendly border war.
Yes. Yeah, unlike the old one. But, so tell us a little bit. I've been there. It's just fantastic. The variety of equipment and so on that you have. Everything from the biggest tractors available. You get them inside the building. I don't know how you do all that. The livestock handling equipment. Tell us a little bit about the variety of things that are on exhibit.
Well, our approach, Kyle, is that we're interested in getting the farmers and ranchers to our show. And so for that reason, those are the people that you're going to see that are exhibiting there. Just good word of mouth. We've been around. This will be our 55th year. So that's, and we're in Kansas City. So there's several reasons why the longevity has been good. But I like to think of it as a seed to harvest, and from calf to wherever, feedlot or to the sale barn. So everything in between. And the fact is that all under one roof, all over the same weekend, literally every manufacturer is represented there. So you have a chance to see them and then walk right down the aisle and see the other guy. And then just as important is the people that are standing behind the product. Farmers want to know. They want to find out what's going on with that product. You can read about it on the internet, but you can go in and talk to them face to face right there at the farm show.
That's one of the things that impressed me as I went down through there and some things that I was interested in. There was always a representative there to fully explain, even to demonstrate, like on the livestock handling equipment, how the gates work and all those things right there on the spot. You just can't find that anywhere in other farm shows that I've been to.
No, and that's a forte, I think. Other shows probably have that, but we've worked at that over the years. And the exhibitors know to do that. So it's their clientele. That's why they're there. So, and it's our job to get them to come in. So just like we're doing right here, promoting this to the rural communities and inviting them in. So that's our job, is to get them into Kansas City.
You mentioned the major equipment dealers, John Deere, Case IH, New Holland, etc. Also, the truck dealers are there, and that's some of the most beautiful vehicles I have ever seen in my life are exhibited at the show.
We're real fortunate that we have a wide variety of equipment. A lot of the other exhibitors in our show are the ones that really are a mouthpiece for promoting our show in other regions that they go to. So we have a pretty healthy waiting list of people trying to get into exhibit.
Really?
And I think that's an asset for us as well. But yeah, what a variety. And you get a chance to see a little bit of everything, and probably get exposed to something that you didn't even expect to see. And we're not encouraging you to go in there and buy something that you don't want. But if you're interested in agriculture, row crop, livestock producing, you're probably going to find something of interest at our event.
But you also find some things that are more what I would call rural-based or home-type things, heating systems, solar power, all kinds of things that are more interest to the average or rural
Right. We'll have
household.
some of that scattered throughout the show. And then also on the upper level, we do have a couple of areas of interest we should mention. Our Family Living Center area, which would be the non-normal ag type of purchasing. That's available on the upper level. And right across the aisle, our Health and Safety Roundup. And I'm not clever enough to remember everything that we offer up there, but I can tell you that on our website at westernfarmshow.com, you can get a complete listing of all of the services that we provide. There are some free screenings, visits with the Highway Patrol, whatever it might be. So yeah, I think it's a well-rounded event. We encourage people to bring the children. Kids under 12 get in free. We've kept the same price of getting into the farm show at $8 for a long time. And you can go on to our website, right on the homepage, and there's a link to a survey to get a discount coupon. So, you know, we're out to make an event and trying to get everybody there.
And I know some of the sponsors are giving out the things like free tickets and so on to good customers. You mentioned children, and I would say this, that for small children to be able to see this equipment, to stand next to some of this big equipment, maybe to crawl over it a little bit, very exciting time for them.
Yeah, exactly. We had somebody, and I won't tell you the colors of it. We were in the hallway last year, and somebody had come in, and they brought their kids in, and she asked me if I knew where the farm equipment was, and I said, yes, I do. I said, what are you looking for in particular? And she said, well, not this color. I want this color. So they went in and made a point to go in, and we're okay with that.
How did this evolve to be in Kansas City in the first place? And I know you take Midwest states, but you've got visitors from all over.
The show is owned, our farm show is owned by a trade association, now currently known as the Western Equipment Dealers Association. Originally, it was the Western Association, and it formed in 1889, primarily for representation for hardware dealers in Kansas and Missouri. And then as we began to grow over the years, we then included implement dealers into our association. And in the late 50s, early 60s, hardware store numbers were not the same, and farm equipment was becoming a lot more prevalent. And then in the early 60s, it went from the hardware show that we used to have in Kansas City to the Western Farm Show. So our trade association is a service organization that helps implement dealers. Many are right here in the area of your coverage, and that's how the show kind of got involved. So it's great that we're working with a lot of our normal partners and members that we get to see at our show. And you and I were talking earlier, it is kind of a networking opportunity, and I don't want to say social event, but you see a lot of people there that you probably know.
Well, I visited a couple of times, and I always see somebody from another part of the state or another state that I know, and you're right, it's sort of a farm family reunion when you get down there. So as this has evolved, you've got these people coming from all over. This must be a tremendous undertaking to get all this equipment to Kansas City and on a display for a few days. That's just got to be, in a way, a nightmare, but I'm sure a lot of fun in ways as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, and we rely heavily on our exhibitors. Oftentimes it's the same transporting company that came from one show to the other or wherever it might be. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of longevity where the exhibitors are in the same locations, and they know with their neighbors on how to move in and how to move out and the different nuances. The only issue we ever run into really is any concerns with weather, and we have our fingers crossed at the end of February it'll be a nice week. But it's amazing how somebody, once they understand what they need to do, all we have to do sometimes is get out of the way. We'll take credit, but they're doing the work.
Well, it's amazing to me. You walk inside a building. I've been to farm shows that are outside, and it's kind of understandable. But you can walk into a nice heated building, very comfortable food and drink and all those things that are available. And there's a planter that's 40 feet wide, or an auger that's 70 or 80 feet long, or a tractor that's 10 or 12 feet tall. I'm just amazed at how all that works.
We're going to have, every year we'll have somebody, an exhibitor with a new piece of equipment. They will literally come down to the American Royal Building with their own tape measure and measure the doors. So the doors aren't getting any bigger, but the equipment sure is.
It has. It's gotten a lot bigger over the years. So when you must have months and months of planning in advance to make this all work.
We do. We start, Kyle, right after the show's over and get things done that we can. There are a number of things that we really can't do physically until we get closer to the show. But I think that's one of the great things about it. Once something is in place, there's a lot of continuity that keeps it running. So yes, we have probably a small staff that works on that, but given enough time and that continuity that goes with it, it runs a little smoother probably than maybe it might look like sometimes.
So if somebody's going to come down, how much time do they need to allow? In my experience is you just wear yourself out trying to see everything. So how much time should a family allow if they want to come down to the farm show?
Well, I used to think a day. But now with all the activities that we have going on, I would suggest maybe spend the night. Come in Friday and enjoy the evening in Kansas City. Come back Saturday or Saturday,
night.
Right? Or Saturday, and then spend the night and come back on Sunday. So we are finding people that are enjoying at least a couple days there because there is a lot to see.
Like so many wonderful events in Kansas City, it brings a big crowd. Do they run short of hotel rooms? Are there accommodations available and so on?
We work with a few hotels of our own. They are listed on our website. They work with us on some special rates. I don't know exactly how they fill up or when, but there are a number of hotels in Kansas City. So, you tie that in with our event, and then the tractor pull next door. There are a lot of people coming to town, and I'm sure many of them there earlier in the week and, probably for the whole weekend.
Well, a lot of the people that are exhibiting have got to find rooms as well as the visitors. So really an all-day visit would be good, but a 2-day visit would be better?
That'd be my recommendation.
You mentioned a website. Tell us a little bit about your website and how you promote the farm show.
We use that as a tool now. We use it for our exhibitors and for the attendees. And it's difficult because there's a lot on a website that you have to update and keep active. And we've been doing a very good job of that, I believe, in-house. Our show coordinator, Livestock, does a great job of keeping everything current. So as we get closer to the show, and a lot of it is very current right now, go to westernfarmshow.com and look up what you're looking for. You can find information there about the tractor pull, about the livestock demonstration, and about the cooking school, and a list of all the exhibitors and all the activity that's going to be going on there. So we use it not just to say, hey, visit our website, but as a tool. You're going to find what you need to find, I think, right there.
And then there's some publications that have got previews of the farm show as well, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with Missouri Farmer Today. We work with High Plains Journal, some other publications, and several radio stations who will be doing interviews with prior to, and they'll be at the show doing interviews as well. So if there is any issue of any inclement weather, which we hope there isn't, stay tuned to your local farm radio station. They'll be updated as the show goes on. But Lord willing, we're going to be in good shape and have good weather this year.
You mentioned your farm radio. Farm broadcasters are an important part of the event as well.
Absolutely, and that's our forte. I mean, we're working exclusively in the rural communities with several area radio stations. We work with KKOW, for example, KMZU, KFEQ, a lot of stations that we know are really having a following of the farmers and the ranchers. So if we're going to do that marketing, we want to make sure that we're finding the right people out there. And you mentioned it earlier too. The other aspect of that is, and this has been going on now for a few years. For example, MFA Incorporated, they're promoting our show heavily, probably in an area that we wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. Mm-hmm. And the same thing now with American Family Insurance, who's been on board for a few years. So, I don't want to, plug them, and go, above board here. But I don't think if it wasn't for them, I don't think we would be in the position that we are right now with the number of exhibitors and the attendance that we've had the last couple of years.
So this is like asking who's your favorite child. So yeah, I know there's how many exhibits?
Around 500.
500. What's some of your favorites? The thing that you really like to go back and see every year? What
I like to do, I like to walk around and observe, and I like to see people that are interactive with the attendees. The one thing about it is you have an opportunity too as an exhibitor to visit with somebody, and the majority of those people that are going to be there as an attendee are probably potential customers. So they're row crop producers or they're livestock people. That's who you want to talk to. And a good example probably would be observing the folks at the American Family Insurance booth. They interact well. They find out if you're really interested in any of their products, but they're asking you in a nice way. And I see a lot of our exhibitors doing that same thing because that's their clientele. So you've got 3 days. They're all there under one roof. It's good for the exhibitor and it's good for the attendee.
Let's go over again the Tickets are around $8, but some discounts available.
Right, and that is actually we have discount tickets available at most any implement dealer near you. Those are association members of our organization, and we provide them with discount tickets. And then right on the homepage of our website, there's a little ad. Click there for it's a brief survey. We just ask you to fill out a few questions, and next thing you know, your emailed discount coupon, turn that into the box office for a discount.
If you're FFA or 4-H, is there special arrangements?
Yes, they've been notified via mail about 2 weeks ago. We expect probably the same response that we've had in the past, which has just been fantastic. We're so pleased that the FFA kids can come to our show. That's all been taken care of behind the scenes, but yes, we do have all that information as well on our website, just in case one of the advisors didn't receive it in the mail.
Let's give the dates and location one more time so that people will remember this and be excited and be making some plans to be in Kansas City at the end of February.
Absolutely. It's our 55th annual Western Farm Show. It'll be at the American Royal Building in Kansas City. It's always the last full weekend in February, so this year it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, February 26th through 28th. Friday 8 to 5, Saturday 8 to 5, and Sunday, 9 to 5 both days, and then 9 to 4 on Sunday.
And the tractor pull is on Friday and Saturday nights.
That'll be at 6
Kemper.
o'clock, right across the street there at Kemper Arena. A separate ticket for admission for that. And all those seats, Kyle, are general admission, so you'll not need to get there too early to get a reserve seat. Just get in early to get the seat that you want, probably down by the finish line.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming, and maybe I'll see you there, and maybe I'll see some of our viewers there as well. And if they do, stop me and say hi. We like to visit with the folks that watch our show. So thanks to you, Ken, for being with us today and for sharing your insights and to share the excitement about this show. And thanks to Mr. Spidell from MFA Incorporated for taking time to visit with us as well. That's all the time we have for tonight, but before we go, we'd also like to thank you, our viewers, for tuning in to Show Me Ag. Be sure to tune in next time for another look at a topic touching rural Missouri. For everyone here at KMOS and myself, good night. We're also very interested in what you have to say. So if you have feedback you'd like to share with us, you can email us at showmeag@kmos.org or find us on Facebook.